Welcome to a Community Partners interview, where we explore the organizations, opportunities, and resources that look to make change in our daily lives. I'm your host, Lily Cereghini, and you're listening to Voices for Ability Radio, all abilities, all the time. Today, I'm joined by Kathy Hawkins, who is the Executive Director for Empower, a disability resource center. At Empower, the Disability Resource Center, they break barriers every day, barriers to access, barriers to knowledge, to choices. Anyone with a disability can use their services, and anyone can help through volunteering, donations, or even a career with Empower. Empower is a vital part of the community, and the need for their services is growing. With your support, you'll be helping even more people find their path to independent living. Thank you for joining us today, Kathy.
Thanks so much, Lily. I appreciate the opportunity.
Kathy, could you tell us a little bit more about yourself? What inspired you to work at Empower?
Well, Lily, I've been connected to the disability community all my life, and before I joined Empower, I worked in a number of different civil society organizations. My real need to come back to Newfoundland was one of the main reasons why I started working at Empower. I applied for a job and I moved home from Ottawa. At the time, I was the adaptive coordinator here, and since then, I've had a number of different positions until I finally made it to the executive director role.
Nice, nice.
Mm-hmm.
How did Empower get its start?
We've been connected to the community now for almost 30 years. Next year in 2027, we'll be celebrating our 30th year. And when we originally started, we were known as a residential setting here called Civic 4. One of the main reasons for getting us started was because we had an institution in the province that would house people with disabilities, and that institution was closing. So they set up our center to be a residential place for people coming out of the institution to learn independent skills like shopping and cooking and laundry and all those domestic type skills. So all of our offices at one point or another was somebody's bedroom. Since then, we operated as Civic 4 for a number of years. Then in 1997, as the philosophies in the country were changing, so was ours, and we became a part of the Independent Living Canada national organization, and we've been a part of them ever since.
Cool. I mean, Empower is almost as old as I am, so you guys have history, that's for
sure. Well, it's only half my age, so there we go.
Well, I mean, you need experience to work in this field.
Yes, that's true. I also self-identify as a woman with a disability too. So, it provides me with an opportunity to stay constantly connected to our community.
Nice. While doing some of my research, I saw that you have a couple of services and resources that you offer. Can you tell us a little bit more about those?
Yes, absolutely. So we offer a whole host of different types of services here. We have a service known as our membership services, which really provides a focal point to any members who come into the center. And for us, the definition of a member would be anybody who self-identifies as a person with a disability. And we don't ask what your disability is. It doesn't matter to us. But we also have family, friends, and allies who are also members. We have two types of membership. We have an active membership and we have an informational membership. And of course, the active membership is pretty well comprised of folks who self-identify as having disabilities. And the informational membership are our community organizations, our allies, and those sorts of things. So in that service, we provide different types of activities. We do information sessions, we do peer support. Depending on the month, we could do activities that are connected to something else that's going on in our community, like Frosty festivals and those sorts of things. And in the summer, we have an annual barbecue. We also have our annual general meeting. So active members have an opportunity to vote in that meeting on our board of directors and those sorts of things. We also have a career development service, which provides anybody who's interested in looking for employment or going back to school with an opportunity to really unpack what it is that they're looking to do. If they're looking for employment, the career development coordinator will help them with developing a resume, doing role-playing and job interviews, and those sorts of things. We have an advocacy services program where we provide supports to people who are having difficulty navigating systems. So, if you're looking for housing, if you're having problems with income support, if you need some advocacy around home support, and those sorts of things, our advocacy services provides that. Right now, we're in the process of gearing up for our income tax clinics. So we will offer opportunities for members to come in and get their income tax done by CRA volunteers. So we're organizing that at the moment. We have an IT and AT service, which provides us with an opportunity to support individuals in any type of technology. If you are trying to navigate the internet in order to get access to different types of information, we'll provide supports for that. If you require some additional help in navigating an adaptive technology, perhaps you may be needing to use it to go back to school or an accommodation in your workplace, well, then we're happy to provide training in order to help you get, more skills in a particular adaptive technology. We also have a 3D printer on site, so we have been busy developing tools for folks who have neurodivergence and all those sorts of things. Our last two programs, one is called Community Inclusion, where we collaborate with other community organizations to make sure that they increase their accessibility confidence. And we also have a corporate services program which works directly with businesses in order to break down barriers in the employment environment.
That's very what's the word? Immersive and like wide spanning. That's the word.
We have a staff of 15, so we're very busy.
Yeah, no kidding. But especially with the tax stuff, right? Because a lot of people with disabilities, myself included, like we have this fear around money.
That's right. We also offer workshops and support on how to complete disability tax credit applications and those sorts of things. As we learn that, Canadians with disabilities require that for other eligibility, like the Canadian Disability Benefit. And here in Newfoundland, we also have a Newfoundland Disability Benefit. So we really try to address any needs and gaps in the community so that we can increase the engagement of our people with disabilities.
For sure. I mean, you need to have confidence around these different fields.
Mm-hmm. Another neat example, Lily, is that this Sunday, of course, is International Women's Day. So we're opening up our center on Sunday for all the women that we have in our membership, and it's going to be facials and manicures happening on Sunday afternoon with some of our volunteers hosting that. So, we really try to make our programming and our services as diversified as the needs within the community. So we like to recognize significant times of the year as well.
I like that, especially with the manicure thing. It's like I get out of there and I'm like, I feel pretty.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
What are some common myths and misconceptions about the clients at Empower?
I think one of the biggest myths that we see all the time is that people with disabilities can't do anything. They need a whole bunch of supports and they need, hand holding and the whole 9 yards, Lillian. And of course, you and I both know that that's not the case at all. So we really work hard in order to make sure that we enhance the voices of our membership in every opportunity that we can get. Newfoundland has just recently, a number of years ago, maybe 3 years ago now, got accessibility legislation. So our corporate services program has been very busy working with public entities like the Newfoundland Hydro, Newfoundland Liquor Corp, Newfoundland Health Services in order to develop their accessibility plans. And we make sure that we have people sitting at the table around their accessibility committees who can advise them on lived experienced opportunities. We have also had an opportunity to really promote, the work of the disability community. And just yesterday in our province, the provincial government voted to create an office for a disability advocate. And I think that we are going to be the first province in the country that has one of those, bona fide specifically for people with disabilities and not coupled together with a seniors advocate. So we're pretty excited about that.
In Ontario, it's coupled with children's services. And I'm like,
yes.
That's rather infantilizing.
Absolutely it is. So we have our own disability advocate office is going to be set up. They still have to vote on the legislation, but it has gone to second reading yesterday.
Good. And I'm not laughing at you at the beginning there, just at the idea that we're not capable of anything. It's like, well, of course we're not when you make me jump through flaming hoops.
That's right. I
Yep.
shared a post on social media this morning is that disability isn't the burden. Inaccessibility is really the burden.
Correct. I actually had a professor who sat at the table when the Access for Ontarians with Disabilities Act
Oh,
was
yes.
being was being written. It should
Mhm.
have only been people with disabilities at that table, and he does have a disability, but he's trying to argue the government here up for more rights and resources to be put into the AODA, and they keep arguing him back down, of course, because it's
Mm.
all about money. It's not about people.
That's
And
right.
money is a barrier. It's not a conduit, it's a barrier.
Absolutely. And we see that often when we see disability or accessibility legislation in provinces, it's always about the almighty dollar, and not necessarily about the impact on people's lives.
Exactly. I hate money so much. Ugh, just
A
the fact that
necessary
you need it.
evil, right?
Ugh, exactly. Emphasis on evil.
Yeah.
Speaking of restrictions, are there any restrictions to the services that empower, such as age, caregivers, disability type, family members only, that kind of thing?
If we were to say that we had some type of a restriction, I would say that right now we work solely with individuals above the age of 18. So we don't do any work with youth or people under the age of 18 because that's typically goes to Easter seals, and we don't necessarily want to be duplicating services. So our mandate, I guess, is that we provide services to people over the age of 18. And we
Okay.
and we don't have any age out requirements. We work with a lot of seniors, and it doesn't matter to us what your disability is. We don't ask for it, and we really, want to make sure that people can become as independently as possible within their own community. So we really strive on community engagement and what that looks like.
I appreciate the whole not asking for disclosure thing because I'm visually impaired. I have no choice but to disclose when I walk into the room with my white cane. But
Right.
if someone's, say, neurodivergent or
Yes.
partially deaf or just an invisible disability and they
Hmm.
don't want to disclose, they should not be, they shouldn't be at liberty not to have to.
Absolutely. I agree too. Although when I wheel into a room with my scooter, there's no denying what's going on with me.
Yeah, exactly. I know how you feel. What would a common journey through Empower look like for one of your clients?
Well, the individual gets the opportunity to identify what their journey will be, and we are really there to support that journey. So if a person comes in and wants to look for employment, then we would be here to support them until they get employment. Now, one of the unique things about us, Lily, is that we don't go and look for employment for them. We would actually support them in looking for their own employment because we don't want to necessarily curb any skills that they would need to acquire in order to become more competitive in today's labor market. So, we don't have job coaches that go out and look for jobs. Even though we do have businesses that come to us with opportunities, then of course we share them with our membership. But really, what we do is we sit down with the individual and make sure that, they are fully skilled and confident so that they can go and look for their own employment. So that would be for somebody if they're coming in to look for employment. If there's somebody that's coming in looking for housing, as an example, who are in a shelter or homeless, then we've got a couple of dedicated workers here where we have received funding through End Homelessness St. John's, and they are housing coordinators. So they will go with the individual, look at accessible housing, ensure that that housing will be comfortable for them, help them, move their furniture and things to a storage unit until they get locations and those sorts of things. And we, certainly advocate on their behalf in order to make sure that they are as competitive as the next person in the lineup looking for that house, because we all know that we're in a housing crisis. We also have other types of individuals who are, of course, are interested in many different things. I remember many years ago when we had a young woman who came into the center and she was extremely shy. She was just 18 at the time and had really no idea what she was doing, who has since been on our board of directors for the past 10 years, and has become a completely different person as it relates to her maturity, her confidence levels. And just this past year, she won an award with us as Member of the Year because of the work that she's done on herself, but also because of her give back to community. So I guess our first step when someone walks through our door is really just to sit down and listen to them and really find out what it is that they're interested in doing. And then we'll do everything in our power to support that journey. It's the whole philosophy of independent living, right?
Absolutely. I need to get in with independent living people. I've got clean the house skills, but my finance management is a little shaky. Just like my whole philosophy on money is don't spend it, basically.
That's right. Yes, eh?
Yeah.
And my whole philosophy is that I spend too much of it.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, but you're a functional adult. Um, without using any names, can you share a success story with me?
I have all kinds of success stories, Lily, all kinds of them. The woman that I just mentioned who received the Member of the Year award is a huge success as it relates to building her own independence. We have people who have had gainful employment and have come in to us and have no idea what type of work that they want to do, who have subsequently moved on to gainful employment and now currently work with the provincial government, works with the RNC, which is our provincial police force. We've had people who, working in the healthcare system. So, we've been very successful with employment and career related things. In our advocacy services, we've had a number of people who have received new homes, new places of dwelling. This past 8 or 9 months, we have had connections with, over 150 different people seeking homes. And, those 150 clients actually turned into almost 900 interactions with them in order to make sure that they, are thriving. So, we have lots of success stories here, and we just love every single one of them.
Very nice.
Hmm.
Are there any events coming up for Empower?
Oh yes, we've got the facials and manicures on Sunday, recognizing International Women's Day. We have a number of different webinars that are taking place. We have one on how to use screen readers. We have another one on how to access your government account online so that you can get into your health files and those sorts of things. We have a peer support session that's coming up that's going to be on budgeting, and we've got a guest speaker coming in from a YMCA enterprise in order to do that. We're having an information session for any of our membership who is interested in being on our board of directors or interested in volunteering on any of our committees. So every month we have a roster of different types of activities and calendars of events. On a monthly basis, we have people that go to our local recreation center and do a walking club. We have a group of people that go to the library and have a book club. So yeah, we're always busy.
Nice, nice. That sounds
Mhm.
very active. I like
Mm.
that.
We have a membership of over 350 people.
Mm.
And we are the only independent living center in Newfoundland and Labrador. So we cover our services province wide.
Hmm. What is the one thing that you see happening over and over again to people with disabilities that should not be? And how do you think we stop it?
I think one of the negative things that happens with people in our province is the discrimination that they feel trying to navigate government systems. Trying to access home supports, trying to access employment opportunities, and all those sorts of things. And it's because I think that our general community or society really is undereducated around people with disabilities, and they just see a medical model of that person and not necessarily a social model where people are thriving in their communities. So it's our constant message to make sure that people with disabilities are seen as equals in our community, and we work very hard in order to make sure that that happens.
Absolutely. I am a definite proponent of the social model. I'm also a
Hmm.
proponent of the continuum model. People like to
Yes,
paint every single one of us with the same brush. It's like, I am visually impaired. I'm not all the way blind. Those are two completely different disabilities. Yes,
that's right.
I vaguely know my braille, vaguely, but at
Yeah,
the same time, I can functionally read print. You give a print book to my bestie, she's completely blind. She can't read it. Okay,
right.
don't yeah, but at the same time, you give a braille book to me and be like, "Oh, you're blind. You can do this." It's like, not all the way. Like,
No.
I identify as blind because that's the community I'm in with, but at the same time, like, it's a continuum. Every
Absolutely.
disability is.
Yes, absolutely. I know a number, as another example, Lily, I know a number of people that have cerebral palsy, and every single one of them have very unique needs, and nobody can necessarily categorize folks with cerebral palsy all in the same pigeonhole. It's just not possible.
No, no,
Just not
no.
possible, and that's the same for every disability, really. You know, I
Mhm,
have mobility limitations, and I've got a power chair in my office, I've got a scooter, I have a walker, and I've got a cane, really depending on the weather and how I'm feeling for the day. So you certainly can't pigeonhole me into a wheelchair user all the time because I'm an ambulatory user.
mhm,
Um, and I think that that's indicative of any type of disability, you know? What you have to do is really look at the person first and then sit down with them and say, okay, where are we going together from here? And what is it that you need support with? And how can we help provide that support? And make
mhm.
sure that during that process that you let us know when you feel confident to be doing this without the support so that we can make sure that you are fully engaged in community.
Absolutely. I'm also a part-time wheelchair user because I have a heart condition, okay? So I can't really do distance. But when I get
Mhm.
up from my chair, it's hilarious to see, okay, who in the room is going to be freaked out?
I know. Yeah, I
My
know.
heels.
I've done the exact
Nope.
same thing. Yeah. And
Exactly.
the other thing that I really love to do is I have a lot of friends who are deaf, and even though I'm a hearing person, I'm proficient at American Sign Language. And I've been in cafes with people, signing away, having a conversation, and the people sitting next to us are talking about us. And they don't realize that, we can hear until I speak back to them and say, why don't you mind your own business?
Right, exactly. It's not a one size fits all kind of garment.
Absolutely not.
If someone wanted to become a client or a volunteer with Empower, what is the process for joining?
All you have to do is give us a call. And you don't even necessarily have to identify a specific need as such. You could just become a member and participate in our monthly activities and events until you become more familiar with what it is that we do. And then perhaps you might want to access a specific service. But we have a web page. We're quite active on social medias. So anybody that's living in Newfoundland and Labrador who wants to get connected, we are happy to have them and they are most welcome.
Fee. What is the one thing that everybody needs to know about Empower?
That we don't operate in silos, that if you come to us as a member and you're interested in being connected to other communities, we really strive really hard in order to make sure that we build collaborations with other community organizations as well as other businesses. And I think that the uniqueness of our service deliveries shows that in leaps and bounds. So if you know of anybody in the province who's interested in getting involved and getting connected and becoming more active in community, please reach out to us because we're happy and to have them, and we welcome them with open arms.
I like that. If listeners are looking for more information, how can they reach out to you?
They're welcome to call me. We've got, a toll-free number. It's information that's on the website. Our website address is inclusion. I'm sorry, we have one website. Our corporate services is inclusionnl.ca, but our center services are known under empowernl.ca. And all the information is there in terms of how to reach out. If you search us in Facebook, we're at Empower, the Disability Resource Center. And if you Google my name, Kathy Hawkins, you will find me quite quickly.
Well, yeah, because it sounds like you're quite prolific.
Well, thank you, Lily. I appreciate that.
Absolutely. Mom, she's been around the block a few times, people. She knows what she's talking about.
Yeah, I've been a part of Empower I'm celebrating my 19th year this year.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. 19 years ago, I think I was still in high school.
Yeah, I was an adaptive technology coordinator.
Nice. Yeah, I could probably get my hands on some adaptive tech. All
Hmm.
right. Well, thank you so much for interviewing with us today, Kathy. Really appreciate it.
You're more than welcome. And if you want to call me again to talk about any type of subject related to disability and accessibility, please reach out. Lily, I'd be more than happy to do another one.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Enjoy your weekend.
You too.
Bye now.
You've been listening to an interview on community partners on B4A Radio. I'm your host, Lily Cereghini. And remember, folks, stick together because we're all in this together.